The 873rd edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com and you use promo code MMA SGPN.
Howdy ho, degenerados. Welcome to episode 873 of the MMA Gambling Podcast, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to Fight Name on YouTube for defending our honor on our YouTube channel in the comments. Unless Fight Name is really Gumby's burner account, in which case. Anyhow, I am the Canadian Bogatir, Jeff Fox. That, the laugher, would be, he's not his nickname. His nickname isn't the laugher. It's Daniel Gumby Vreeland. And we're here to talk not about UFC. We're here to talk about Super RIZIN 4. They are in the Saitama Super Arena in Saitama, Japan. So it's going to be a big event this coming. So, well, it's Sunday technically because it's midnight Eastern Sunday. So Saturday night / Sunday morning. They got a heavyweight tournament. They have got a flyweight tournament. We are not covering either of them. At least maybe in lightning round we are. Gumby, why are we not covering either tournament?
Well, I like the heavyweight tournament, first of all, but they're in the semifinals, so only 2 fights right now. And to be honest with you, the 5 that we're going to cover, just like bigger names, more value. If I remember correctly, we did very well on the quarterfinals of that tournament, but I do have a lightning round pick from that, so we'll go back and hit that in the lightning round. And then for the flyweight one, like we would probably have had to do a whole episode on it because there are 5 fights, and this is my biggest problem with their flyweight tournament is, first of all, they decided to do 5 fights. Why? That's not how a tournament
how does that work?
Well, wait, I'm gonna tell you. No, I'm gonna tell you because it's even worse than that somehow.
Oh,
so first of all, they got some guys in there who don't belong in there, right? Like it's like Shorty Torres and Ogi Kobu and Shin and like there's some absolute studs in there. And then there's like a guy who's like 11-13. And then they let the fighters choose their own matchups, which sucks because now Shorty Torres is fighting Ogi Kobu.
Oh, that's not good.
So like one of those guys is getting eliminated. And then they're letting the fans vote on which 4 winners get to stay in the semis and who has to suddenly become an alternate. So like horrible. there's a chance, there's a world where Ogi Kobu beats Shorty Torres in a boring fight. Because let's face it, Ogi Kobu, sometimes not terribly exciting, right? Like that guy's a wrestle heavy sort of guy. And then we see basically 2 of the best guys in this tournament both go out in the same round because one of them beat the other one, but it wasn't exciting. Like, why not just cut it down to the 8 best? And it's probably because they promised, 8 guys they could be in. And then like Shorty was like, hey, I'd get in on that too. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll come up with some stupid rules or something like that. And like, they botched it so hard. And like, maybe it'll all work out fine. Maybe there will be 4 good semi-finalists and somebody will get the, short end of the stick, but nobody will really care except for him. Like maybe that's the world we live in, but like, why? For what reason? It just seems so dumb.
PFL is raising their eyebrows at the are you sure you want to do this? This doesn't seem like a good plan, guys. All right. We're not breaking down those fights though. Maybe in the bonus round, lightning round. And of course, if you hit us up and ask politely online, either in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord, or on the YouTube at MMA Gambling Podcast, we'll get you more picks. But all right, we're going to dive into it after I remind you can get all of SGPN's picks and props for free with the SGPN app. So get it wherever you get your apps. Just search for SGPN. Super RIZIN 4, Saitama, Japan, as I said, Saturday night / Sunday morning, midnight Eastern, Saitama Super Arena, Saitama, Japan. 18 fights in a ring.
18 fights.
Yeah,
God, 18 do I love RIZIN.
Exactly. It's like one of the New Year's Eve type things. We got a Pitbull fighting. One of the Pitbull brothers, not the one that just fought. This is the other Pitbull. So I assume Patricio is going to be flying across the world to get to this as well. Patricky Pitbull from Brazil against Shunta Nomura from Japan. They're fighting lightweight, which is 157 in RIZIN. No odds yet, but RIZIN odds are fairly easy to get when they do drop. So usually a midweek type of thing. Nomura 9-2, 4 knockouts. He's never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in RIZIN. He's won 4 straight and 8 of 9. He's not lost since July 2023. He's a regional champ. He's 11 years younger than Pitbull. He's an inch taller. Pitbull is 25-14, 17 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted once. 2-1 in RIZIN. He has lost 3 straight. He's won 1 of 5 and 2 of 8. Ouch. He's not fought since June 2024. He's not won since July 2023. He went 16-10 in Bellator and was the champion there. RIP Bellator. He's missed weight before 2005 pro MMA debut. 0-1 as a pro grappler.
This one's so hard to guess a line because, like, on one hand, it's a Pitbull brother.
Yep.
And on the other hand, as you said, he's 2-6 in his last 8.
Yeah.
And what was it, 1-5 in his last 6 or something like it's a really ugly recent record. And so, like, can you install a guy like that as a favorite against Nomura, who's on a pretty damn good run? I don't know, but I weirdly feel like the books will have this absurdly close. Even if Nomura is a favorite, I'm going to say he's like -125 and you get like even money on Pitbull. And I'm going to go Nomura for like a lot of the reasons you said. It's a terrible run for Pitbull. And as you kind of alluded to earlier in the conversation too, it's like Pitbull has slowed down a lot. And it's especially apparent when you see him in a striking match with guys who are quick on their feet. Like, go back and watch, if you don't believe me, go back and watch his fight in PFL against Clay Collard, right? Clay Collard, a guy who sort of polished his boxing and slowly became like the boxing guy in PFL. And man, was he just tearing Pitbull apart. He was walking him down, piecing him up. Pitbull was doing that thing where he like turns his shoulders and basically runs away from him in that fight. Like, it was ugly. And like, Nomura comes from a karate background. Like, Nomura, you know, good switch stances. I do worry a little bit about his defensive striking. He's not always the best at remembering to exit the pocket he entered. And he kind of sticks around for just a little bit too long. And, you know, Pitbull's got some knockout power, which maybe is another reason why this line could be as close as it is. But like, Nomura's got good punching power, good pressure. He switches stances, which gives you weird looks. And then in addition to that too, like, you know, Nomura has a little bit of wrestling. Like, I always surprised because when you're listening to the American broadcast of a Nomura fight, they're constantly talking about his karate background. Like, it's like the only thing they mention is that like he used to do karate, and it's like, yeah, cool, yeah, like he's a person too. But like, they talk about it, and then you see him get in on their hips, and they're like still talking about his karate, and I'm like, this guy's like an actual well-rounded martial artist, and he's in way closer to the prime of his career than Pitbull is at this point. He seems to be dropping off, slowing down, you know, possibly looking for an exit strategy because like you can't lose this many in a row and still be making decent money on their fights. Although I guess RIZIN, I have no idea what RIZIN pays. So maybe he takes a few more fun fights in RIZIN, but I think Nomura handles him here. Watch the pressure build up and possibly looking for a finish.
All right, there you go. Nomura is the pick. Let's go to the next bout. Karshyga, Dautbek versus Kyoma, Akimoto. Akimoto is from Japan. Dautbek is from Kazakhstan, and they are fighting at what weight? 146. So basically,
other weight
here. Yep. Akimoto, 8-1, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's never been finished in a fight. He's 3-1 in RIZIN. He won his last bout. He's fought at 125 and 135. 13 years younger than Dautbek, 3 inches taller. Dautbek, 18-3, 14 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out twice. 4-1 to RIZIN. He's won 10 straight. He's not lost since March 2019. He's fed at 135, 2015 pro MMA debut.
Yeah, I think Dautbek's going to be a big favorite here. We'll say like -275. And he's the pick for sure on me. You know, I watched Kyoma Akimoto in his recent fights. And, you know, while I like the pressure and the footwork that he sort of brings to the fight, my big issue with him is how upright he is. And I think that's a nightmare against Dautbek for multiple reasons. So like when he backs you down, you know, he's almost straight-legged, which, you know, maybe is how he plans on striking and stuff like that. Or maybe he's a little heavier on his feet, but there's not a lot of bend in his knees. And that can be a real problem when you fight a guy against like Dautbek, because Dautbek rips the legs with kicks. And so if you're not agile on your legs, or you seem like you're a little bit more stuck where you are, it's a lot harder to check those, or it's a lot harder to move out of the range, or it's a lot harder to not like eat them hard because you're like heavy on your feet. And then in addition to that too, like when you're straight legged and your upper body's up top protecting your head, you're sort of susceptible to the takedown. And we've seen it from Karshyga to Dautbek, is like, he is a good wrestler. He doesn't always choose to do it right away because he is pretty electric with the hands and pretty electric with his kicks. But like, you know, when he realizes like, hey, I've got a way bigger advantage here, like that's the advantage he's going to take. And the thing I like even more about him is, you know, because he's fought in RIZIN for so long, and he's always sort of been the sort of wrestler guy there, his takedowns do not rely on putting you into a corner and working you there, or putting you into the cage and working you there. He's really good about getting to the hips and then turning your body. You know, like he cuts angles really well, and he tries to drop you right in the middle of the cage. And one of the bigger problems with RIZIN, particularly if you're a guy who's stiff-legged and gets yourself taken down a lot, is there's no cage walking up.
Right.
There's no way you're getting up that way. So like when you have a guy like Dautbek who can just change the fight with one quick takedown, like sometimes he only needs a couple of those to win the fight, because like, you know, bad wrestlers often can figure out ways to wall walk, or figure out ways to, you know, sometimes they kick off the cage and flip and force a scramble, but like there's none of that here. So, you know, I think you're going to see Dautbek rip his legs like 3 or 4 times. You're going to see Akimoto get too close, takedowns for days, and Dautbek dominate this one. If he does come in anywhere in the high 2s, low 3s, even if that creeps to the mid 3s, I still like him in parlays here. And you're going to see a lot of big odds at the top of this card. So, you know, Dautbek might be a good way to taper some of those.
There you go. He tells you who wins, how he's going to win, and what number you should play him at. What more do you want? All right, let me tell you about Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Think you know ball, then you have to enter Circa's football contest with $21 million in guaranteed prizes. There's no rake, so if entries go above the guarantee, all extra money will go to the prize pool. Circa Million, you pick 5 teams against the spread each week, or go for the ultimate sweat in Circa Survivor. There's even the Circa Grandissimo, which is a $100,000 Survivor contest. You must register in person at a Circa Sportsbook in Nevada, but there's your excuse to go to Vegas. And then sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. And we're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. They have easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. They will have Super RIZIN 4 odds up on the site if they don't have them up there by the time you hear and or see this. And so when you do head over to mybookie.ag, use our promo code to sign up, MMA SGPN. That way you get 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. All right, Gumby's got us 3 guarantee winners so far. Now
we've only done 2 fights.
2 guarantee winners so far. The third is coming up. Correct. I'm ahead of myself here. It's for the RIZIN Atomweight Championship, Women's Atomweight Championship. Seika Izawa, the champion, versus Yujin Shin. That would be Japan versus South Korea. We'll tell you about the challenger first. Shin, 3-0 with 1 no contest, 2 submissions. This is her debut. Stepping right into a title fight. No contest in her last bout. Used to fight at 115 and 125. She's 7 years younger than the champ. Izawa is 15-0, 1 knockout, 8 submissions, 9-0 RIZIN. She's already defended her title once. Submission win in her last bout. Regional champ. Used to fight at 115 and 120. It's kind of a squash match here, Gumby.
Yeah, it's so.
I'm not missing anything here. Good.
Seika Izawa like negative 1,500 is my guess.
Yeah.
These are going to be blowout odds. And no shade on Yujin Shin. Like I watched her fight. She looks like a good 3-0 atomweight, to be honest. Like she's got some decent hands. She in that no contest, I couldn't actually figure out why it was a no contest because I watched that fight and it looked like she had a rear naked choke. And then the fight ended and it was a no contest. I had a lot of trouble figuring out what it was. So like she's got some grappling, but my big issue here too is just like when you watch her throw. She crashes into range. She doesn't do a good job of like establishing and being at her preferred striking range. She starts pushing forward and then just like, even if her opponent doesn't give up space, she keeps pushing forward and then she's in the clinch. And let me tell you something about being in the clinch with Izawa, because she is maybe one of the best women in the world when it comes to both working in the clinch and finding ways to get you into a position where you can be submitted from there. Whether that's a trip, whether that's, I mean, I've seen her just like get underneath somebody's elbow and just take the back while they're both standing in the clinch still. Like she's incredible. Like if there is somebody in the world right now that could force Dana White's hand to opening up the atomweight division, it's Seika Izawa.
Oh, she's the one we talked about before then, right?
Yes. Yeah. She's the one who,
that before.
I mean, like when if you want to go back, like, half a dozen fights or maybe more, like I think we broke down her fight with Seohee Ham, who was in the UFC at 115, fun kickboxer. And I was like, I don't know if this Izawa girl's ready for her. She's fun, no competition. And then I watched the fight and I was like, oh my God, this girl is like the truth, she's the real deal. And now she's 15-0 and they can't find anybody to give her a fight right now. Like, if they just opened up that division, like the UFC would finally have their Japanese champ that they've kind of always backed secretly. I think they would have somebody who's like wildly marketable. She's super young. Like, this is my plea right now. Sign Seika Izawa, open up the atomweight division, let her crush a whole bunch of people and make it fun.
Yeah, it really makes no sense because they're always desperate. Like, they're all about content, just getting content out there, and they always want title fights on cards. Why would you not want more titles? Yeah, they don't care about like watering down belts. They don't care about things like that. Like, just do it.
And this wouldn't even water down the belt. Like,
no,
we're talking about it like women's atomweight isn't like the most talent-rich women's division out there. Like, strawweight and flyweight are definitely comparable to it. But I think if the UFC like went out with their pocketbook open and was just like, hey, give me the best 35 women's atomweights in the world, you wind up with Izawa and Palacios and like there's so many fun ones out there that you could put together, and then you'd get like Momoluk Bume at her proper weight class, and like that too. Like, it would be fun as hell. And I'd watch. Izawa needs opponents right now. Momoluk Bume versus Izawa, way better than Yujin Shin. It would be a much better fight. So like, this is my plea again.
You're listening, Dana, for sure. You're listening. All right, Izawa in a squash match. We're to our co-main event for another belt, the RIZIN Men's Bantamweight Championship. Naoki Inoue, he is from Japan. Ryuya Fukuda, he is from Japan as well. They're fighting. RIZIN's only 3 5-minute rounds, right? For title fights. We talked about this before.
Yeah, I think so. I don't ever remember the rules.
Yeah.
And is it CFFC that's 4? Weirdly.
Yeah, we have come across some that are 4. You're right.
I think CFFC is 4, and they only go to a fifth. They only go to a fifth in an emergency.
It's like CFL having like 3 downs instead of 4. It's just everyone has.
Isn't that it? Doesn't in the CFL too? If you miss a field goal, but it goes through the end zone, you get a point. Yeah. That's dumb as hell, man.
Yep, sure is. All right, we'll tell you about Fukuda first. 25-8-1, 12 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. So he's durable at the very least. 3-0 on RIZIN. He's won 4 straight and 12 of 13. He's a regional champ. He's fed at 125, 2011 Pro MMA debut. Inoue is 19-4, 2 knockouts, 9 submissions, never been finished in a fight. 9-2 in RIZIN. The current champ successfully defended his title once. He's won 3 straight and 4 of 6. He's not lost since May 2023. He went 1-1 in the UFC. He's fed at 125. 2015 Pro MMA debut. He has a draw as a pro grappler in 1 fight. 5 years younger than Fukuda, 3 inches taller, 4 inches reach. This is not a squash match like the last title fight we talked about.
I mean, it's less of a squash match, but I still think it's more one-sided. I'm going to say in a way like -275. He'd actually be a great line to pair with Dautbek in a parlay. If you're trying to get something looking nice, because I like Inoue quite a bit here against Fukuda, and the big reason why is like, so Naoki Inoue is a guy who I've picked against a bunch in the past, and I've maybe been a little bit harsh on him, mostly just because like I don't necessarily trust his wrestling defense. Like, I think he's lost fights in the past where like, just like work on your wrestling defense a little bit and you'd look a lot better. And like we saw that he was in the UFC for like 4 or 5 fights, right?
2 fights, 1-1 in the UFC.
Yeah, and they must have cut him when they were sharpening. They were cutting down on the flyweights because he was a flyweight in the UFC. And so like the wrestling's kind of always been an issue for him there. And the good news here is against Fukuda, I don't think it's an issue, so that helps him. A, and then B, the thing that in a way I find is the best at. Well, first of all, when he can offensively grapple, he's good there too. But from a striking perspective, he does a really good job of cutting off the cage and doing so in a way that keeps him safe. Like he puts the pressure on you. He makes it so that you can't get, or I should say ring, not cage. He does a really good job of like getting people cornered into the actual corner, lighting them up, not letting him circle away, punishing him for trying to circle away. And then when you watch Fukuda has kind of this like crouch down stance where he's almost like coiled. And the reason I think he's doing it is because he is just looking to uncork a right hand with like all of the power in the world at all times. Like he just wants that big shot. And, as I just said with Inoue, he's got this kind of style where he's like pressure heavy and he forces you to like, move ways that he wants you to move and stay at the range he wants you to stay at. So like he's not susceptible, in my opinion, to that big return coming from Fukuda. Like he is going to avoid the big, massive shot from Fukuda there. So, for that reason, I like Inoue to cut off the cage, beat him up the whole time. And then if Fukuda does get too close to him too, we can see a little bit of that grappling. Inoue's top control is pretty good, and certainly his submission skills are too. So I like Naoki Inoue. And I'm going to stop right while you're drinking.
There you go. That's right. Of course, on purpose. Is he related to the famous Inoue's, Gumby?
Yeah, he's Mizuki Inoue's little brother.
Right, yes.
Yeah, right. Remember, because both of them made it to the UFC. I think she made it to the UFC. She got signed like right after he left. I don't ever think they were in there together, but they were the first brother-sister combo.
Right.
Because the second one is the Melly Martinez, David Martinez.
Yep. All right, very good. Before we get to the main event, got to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. I don't have to. I want to. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em, as Gumby will give you a play right now.
Yeah, the Braves are hosting the Giants on Monday. Ozzie Albies suddenly white hot in that series with the Yankees. He had 2 homers, 9 RBIs in the 3 games. So we're going to take the higher than on his hits, runs, and RBIs. They got it listed right now. Projection 1.5. So I'd say he's going to get a hit and an RBI in there. Give me the higher than on Ozzie Albies.
And the Jays just got done spanking the Giants, so they're reeling. So they're right for the picking right now, for sure. All right, take that and take our code MMA SGPN over to UnderdogFantasy.com. That way you get to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And you've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. Essentially, the best of the best what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data back bets. Here are some stats to back up what I'm saying. MLB Power Trends are 254 or 147, which is a win rate of 63% and an ROI of 4.5% in their past 400 bets. And WNBA Power Trends are 35 and 20 since launch. That's a 63.64% win rate, a 20.7% ROI. So download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we will be. Gumby is always on there checking out baseball, WNBA when he's forced to make articles on WNBA, right?
Yeah, they were cleaning up on WNBA for me. I had a bunch of Kelsey Plum higher than on her points. And then who was the other one I was hitting too? I can't remember the other one, but Kelsey Plum I hit a fair amount of times.
Fantastic. So be like Gumby. Check it out. And you can check it out for free. 7-day free trial. Thanks to us by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. All right. Have you ever main event? Have you ever recorded like three podcasts in a day and you're only on the second one, but you think it's the third one and you're like, oh, I'm almost done. Then you realize, oh no, I have another episode to do after this.
It's never happened to me. Has it happened to you?
Okay, good. No. A friend of mine though, it happened to him once. All right. Main event. It's just for fun, right? No belt on the line. It's at featherweight, 146. Kleber, Koike. Is it Koike? How do you say?
I always say Erbst. It's Kleber Erbst to me still.
He doesn't go by that, I don't think now. Like his Instagram is just Koike or whatever his middle name is.
And do the WWE thing. It's still Erbst to me.
It's still Erbst to me. He is from Brazil. I'll say Erbst. It's easier to say. Mikuru Asakura. You would never. He's from Japan. You would never guess that Kleber Koike Erbst is from Brazil, but he is. All right. Asakura, I guess this is a feature fight because both these guys are fairly famous in the fisticuff realm, we'll call it. Asakura is 18-5 with 1 no contest, 9 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted twice. 12-4 in RIZIN. He's only 1-2 over his last 3, 4-2 over his last 6, 5-4 over his last 9. Kind of inconsistent. TKO win in his last bout, though. He has lost to Erbst before, Gumby. I know this. back in
2021.
Yep, got submitted by him in 2021. I didn't overlook that. He's regional champ, Asakura is, or was. He's fought at 155, 2012 pro MMA debut, 0-1 in pro kickboxing. Technically, he's 0-1 in boxing because he fought Floyd Mayweather in that
weird sham fight.
That weird sham fight, yeah.
And then he's the one who just weirdly quit in the middle of that fight, right? Like he just was like, I'm out.
Yep. It was fun all around. 3 years younger than Erbst, because he's still Erbst dust. 34-8-1 for Erbst with 1 no contest, 2 knockouts, 29 submissions. So you know what this man's going for. He's been knocked out once, submitted once, very, very durable. So he's fought 44 times. So don't even stop twice. 9-2 with 1 no contest in RIZIN. He's a former champion 2 times over in RIZIN. 3-1 over his last 4, 3-3 with 1 no contest over his last 7. TKO. He got TKO'd in his last bout. He also is a former KSW champion. That's where he fought Asakura. He went 0-1 to Bellator, RIP. Fought at 135, 155, and 170. Missed weight twice at 145 before. 2008 pro MMA debut.
Yeah, he got knocked out by Shaidilev, right? In the title fight.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it was pretty ugly. This one's hard for me to line too. I'm gonna say negative 175 on Erbst. He's still kind of got the name value here, and his path to victory is so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, he is really durable, as you just mentioned, but also on the other hand, his jiu-jitsu is nasty. It's such an obvious path to victory, but he needs you on the ground one time. And when you're on the ground one time, he's going to submit you. And the thing about Asakura is he does some things that lend themselves really well to just getting grounded and beat up once he's down there. And one of those things is that while he is a much more talented boxer than Erbst, he also has a problem sometimes with getting too close to his opponents, crashing into range, like we were talking with Yujin Shin.
Yep.
He's overly aggressive, gets in your face. And then the other thing is too, it's we watched him get taken down in his last fight. He's fought Ushikawa and he got taken down pretty early in that fight and had to work his way back to his feet. And Erbst is not a phenomenal wrestler. He has it's his means to an end, which his end is pretty obvious. It's rear naked choking you or putting you in a triangle choke or tearing one of your limbs off. And so it's good enough, but I actually think it's better than the people who I've already seen take Asakura down. So while Erbst is going to be in danger on the feet, he knows it. He's sort of always known it. That's why he's safe when it comes to that. He just needs his opening, in my opinion. So I think we're going to see him, south of negative 200. And I'd like him to get his chance to get his submission.
And he's already submitted Asakura once before, as we mentioned. So one of Asakura's 2 submission losses have already come to this man. So can you find RIZIN props, or do you never look for those yourself?
I haven't seen them the last couple of events. I think it sort of matters the depth of the event because, when they go 18 fights deep, I think some books are a little bit tentative to be asking for props, especially because towards the bottom of the card, there's some things they're not going to know. And I don't think books want to get held, their feet to the fire here. So sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. When Bellator was doing the co-promotion with them, they were up there all the time. So I don't know if that's kind of gone away, but I don't think his prop on submission is going to be good though. I think it's going to be his money. It's going to be his money line minus $5 or something like that.
All right. Recap. Then we'll get you some more plays. Erbst, aka Koike, aka KKE, Inoue, Izawa, Dautbek, and Nomura. All right, later rounds, Zap Bam Boom Pow. Plenty to choose from. 13 other fights, Gumby.
Yeah, we're gonna go with 3 of them. So the first one I like is from the heavyweight tournament. Mikio Ueda, who beat Sudario, the sumo wrestler.
Yep.
He beat the sumo wrestler in the quarterfinals, and it was actually a fight I called. Got some pretty good underdog money on Ueda, and Ueda's kind of so he's this big, heavy look. He looks like he could almost be a sumo wrestler too. But he's a fun kickboxer with big head kicks, and he's got kind of a crappy record. I think even with the win over Sudario, I think he's only 6-3. And he's up against a good opponent, so you might be able to find a pretty decent line on him. He's an underdog or a undercard guy I like. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Shorty Torres is going to be fighting Hiromasa Ogikobu. I personally like Ogi Kobu. I think Shorty's kind of lost a step at this stage in his career. You know, he's got kind of a long career in the first place. And then when you add in the fact that he had like 30 amateur fights, like this guy's got a lot of mileage on him. And Ogi Kobu's getting older, but like it's hard for me to forget that Ogi Kobu out-grappled Pantoja in a fight one time, right? Like he knocked Pantoja out of the flyweight Ultimate Fighter. Like that, granted 2-round fight, but like his wrestling has always been that good. And yeah, he's 38 now, but like at the end of the day, I kind of think he can just get to the legs of Shorty enough to win this fight. And then I like Kanahara. He's fighting Yaman. Remember Yaman?
Yeah, of course.
Man. Yeah, who keeps being a good kickboxer, but kind of sucks everywhere else. So I think Kanahara is going to get him down enough times to win this one too. So we'll take Ueda, Kanahara, and Ogi Kobu as our 3 lightning round picks.
All right, you're all set. If you want picks for the other 13 fights or 10 fights, sorry, hit Gumby up. You can hit us up on the old YouTube, of course, MMA Gambling Podcast. We have our own Discord. We have lots of fun in there. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer, at Jeff Fox Writer, Instagram as well. Check out my Substack. Lots of good MMA articles and stats there, plus a free UFC Pick'em contest every week at moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has a podcast called Top Turtle, and he's in the thick of the Contender Series interviews, right?
Yeah, we got Contender Series, Baba Yaga, Damian Panas, who is going to be fighting on the first episode. And then we got an LFA interview for you. We talked about Gabby McComb in her fight in LFA yesterday's episode. Go back and listen to that. She's going to be on the show talking about some pretty high-level training.
All right. So that would be Top Turtle. And, of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. All right, Gumby. Bid the people farewell.
All right, I'm Gumby Vreeland. He's Jeff Shorty Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.